Yes, hi there everyone. I'm Kia ora. Today we have an interview with the family of two vaccine-injured children here up in in Northland, and I have Shushila Butt and Roy Butt with Sarah Jane from Vax New Zealand. So would you like to introduce yourselves?
Yeah, I'm Shushila, but I've got two disabled children damaged by vaccine.
Okay, and would you like to tell us what happened?
You start.
Ashnil and Alicia was developing normally till the Ashnil got his 18 months IMMR, and Alicia got DPTH at 3 months old, and then they started to have seizures.
What year was this? Do you recall?
Alicia was 1996, and Ashnil was 2000 and... No, Ashnil was 2000 and... Sorry. Shall we record it again?
That's okay, just roughly, just 2000.
No, Ashnil was 1993.
Okay. Okay, so at the time, did you realise it was the vaccines?
No, we didn't.
Okay, did the doctors give you any indication it was the vaccines?
We were not told about anything about that because our children had a neurological disorder and we feel that they shouldn't have been vaccinated.
Okay, so before they had the vaccines, did you sign a consent form?
No.
You didn't?
No, and we were not told about the pros and cons, nothing. It was just we went to the health centre and they just vaccinated it.
So you agreed verbally to the vaccine because you thought that was the right thing to do?
That's right, yeah, because we were told by the Plunkett nurse this is the time to vaccinate, like they usually tell you, 3 months, 6 months or whatever.
Did they give you any scary stories about how your
No.
children would die if you didn't vaccinate? Okay, so when they had the first one had their seizures, what did you do?
Alicia, I went to take Alicia to the hospital and she was in the hospital for 3 days.
This is up here in Qatar?
No, that was in Huntley.
Okay.
And she was admitted in Hamilton Hospital, Waikato Hospital, for 3 days, and then she came back home, and that's from that time she just started to have seizures.
After she came out of hospital?
Yeah.
Before?
Now she started having seizures before.
Before.
Yeah.
And how did they treat her? I mean, what treatments did they give her?
They gave her anti-epileptic.
Okay. And when she first had her very first seizure, what was your response?
I think we were frightened, so we just rushed her to the hospital.
Okay. Yes, it's terrifying. Okay, so how long did she have seizures for? I mean, how long a period of time did they go on?
Alicia has seizures every day, and it's like myoclonic checks, and sometimes that goes into a status.
Yeah.
So it's life-threatening seizures, and so does Ashnil. He also has got life-threatening seizures.
Okay. And what was she like before the vaccines? Was she developing normally?
That's right. Ashnil was developing normally, Alicia was developing normally, and everything was going right. But after the vaccine, things started going backwards, and...
Did she change?
Yeah, both of them.
Mentally, psychologically as well, did she change her personality
Alicia used to start,
her behaviour?
Alicia started to crawl at 3 months old, and after the vaccine she just started going backwards, she just stopped. And
did she lose speech or any of those things?
At 3 months you can't speak.
True. That's true. That's true, but sometimes...
But Ashnil, at 18 months, he was saying a few words, mom, and a few things, but that stopped.
That's right. Sometimes the babies lose even their, basic,
and the
basic mumbles.
As well, he was, other things as well, like developing at 19 months, he started to go backwards.
Okay. So when did you make the connection, how far back did you make the connection it might be the vaccines?
I think when Alicia was born, and she was vaccinated and she started having that, I started researching on the internet, because it just started giving me an idea that might be the vaccine must be the cause of it. How can I have 2 children that have the same abnormality,
Yeah. So did you take that information into your GP and say, look, I think this is what's happened?
We did, but they just push you back.
Yeah.
because you can't speak, because if you speak, people are not there to help you.
And they will say things like, oh, don't go looking on the internet, but then they're not giving you any honest answers either, are
Yeah, but
they?
there was a person there, I won't name her,
Yeah.
but she was quite helpful. She's in the medical field, but she was quite helpful giving me information.
Uh-huh. So she said it was she thought it
She-
was the vaccines?
She didn't say that it was a vaccine, but she was they were telling me some information, printing out information and giving it to me.
Okay, right. So what happened further down the track with the children? Did they continue having seizures?
Just things got sort of gradually worse and worse until we took Alicia, she was seizuring badly, we took her to the hospital, and she kept seizuring. My wife was with her all through the night, and she said she was seizuring basically all night, and then I went there in the daytime and still with her, and she was still seizuring all the time. You know, even after they gave her some
Epileptic.
drug, sort of maybe about 5-10 minutes later she'd start seizuring again. And
So the
then-
drugs didn't work?
No.
They didn't help?
No, they were
No,
giving
so-
stronger drugs like those Piarian, but still it didn't help.
And then the doctor came to us and said, more or less,
Like in a video conference from Whangarei Hospital, she came on a video conference
Mm-hmm.
to say,
but the doctor said first that, sort of, it shocked us because, you take a child to hospital for them to get
treated.
treated, and hopefully, but he said to us, if, what was it, sorry, if she goes into a coma or something, do you want us to do everything to revive her, or do you want us just to let her go? And
Right.
more or less,
And that was the
more or
saddest
less,
thing we had,
more or less intimated that, it'd be better to let her go. It'd be kinder to let her go rather than try and get her to recover.
So how did you feel about that?
Well, it hit me like a ton of bricks.
I mean, look at her now. She's gorgeous. I mean, I know that's what you're thinking. Like, look at her now. I mean, you couldn't imagine life without her, could you?
But that.
So they were going to basically just throw her under the bus and say, we'll close the case and let her die?
That's right, yeah, which,
Okay.
like I'm saying, hit us like a ton of bricks because there's not the reason we took her to the hospital, just to be told that, let her die.
You want someone to fight for your child, like you do.
So what did you do? You took her home and then what happened?
Well, eventually, there was a couple of drugs that
Yeah, they were not tried, You use it for Piarian only, like for Piarian, you understand what I mean? Like when, like odd times, you understand what I mean? Like and they used it and then it stopped.
we
Mhm.
managed to stop. And then we heard of Certifex, or we knew about it before, and we decided from that time we'll get this Certifex and try her on that because, what have you got to lose?
Mm. And how did that go?
Well, that worked a miracle basically because once we gave her that, the seizures more or less, from continuously going, stopped.
So that's
And she-
the prescription marijuana.
Yeah, that's right.
Medical marijuana.
Okay, so that's worked well for both of your children?
No,
No,
not
no,
for
no.
Ashnell.
Not
Mm.
for Ashnell because
Mm.
he's not quite as bad as Alicia, but
Okay.
for Alicia, that was more or less saved her life up to now. And how long has she been on that now?
3 years, and she hasn't been in hospital for 3 years. Before she used to go to hospital every month, and it was costing taxpayers nearly $15,000 every time she was in hospital.
It cost you as well, of course, visits, petrol, time, all of the things and all the grief that goes with it.
$15,000 every time she was
Yeah.
admitted in the hospital,
So
Sure.
Ashnill,
and that's per day.
Wow.
Ashnell's your oldest,
Yeah,
and he was absolutely developing fine until he was 18 months.
that's right. Yeah.
And then he had a vaccine. Was it? Do you have any doubt?
Not at that time, but after Alicia was born, 3 years later. Alicia was born 3 years
Yeah.
later.
Was their
the-
schedule different? Like, have you compared the vaccine schedule in both of the children? Did she have more earlier?
Yes, she had more earlier and she's the worst.
That's what I wondered.
Yeah.
So genetically, they're both vulnerable,
Mm,
and then this newborn baby, she's had more than Ashnell,
that's
and
right.
it's
Yeah.
hit her
And at a
harder.
younger age as well.
and then that's when you went.
That's right. Yeah.
So they've had no vaccines for how long now?
Alicia didn't have any vaccine from 3 months when she was 3 months old,
Mm-hmm.
and Ashnell didn't have any vaccine after 18 months.
Okay. And have you had any pressure from the medical system?
I think they don't pressure us.
They don't.
No, yeah, they know what we'll say, no?
Okay, so have you've gone public with your story at all? Have you
I
tried to tell the press, mainstream press about it? Have you?
I think it was published in Northland. It's just a very limited amount, just the, we believe that vaccination has caused this problem. It was different article,
It was about funding, wasn't
funding,
it?
yeah, funding, and then he mentioned about
I
that.
thought it
yeah.
was good that they let that little sentence in, though.
Yeah. But,
Okay.
we have applied ACC, but it was declined. We applied 3 or 4 times, but they declined it.
Have you run out of times to apply for help, for funding help for their medical treatments?
What do you mean?
Are you able to apply again to ACC, or
I don't
have
know.
you run out of options
we
there?
just given up.
You okay?
Is there a doctor that is actually, or a neurologist that's confirmed that these children shouldn't
Yeah.
have ever been vaccinated?
No, he didn't say that shouldn't have been vaccinated, but he said that they had evolved neurological disorder from the time they were born. In a way, not conception, But so if they have neurological disorder, they shouldn't have been vaccinated.
And so they would
That's
never.
a vaccine contradiction, isn't it?
Yeah. So they would. No one ever
Now,
gave them a full assessment to see whether
Yeah.
they were.
now they have not given anyone, any of our children, full assessment.
So kind of give the vaccines first and ask questions later.
Yeah.
Okay, so how old are the children now?
Ashnell is 25 and Alicia is 21.
And what have their lives been like as young adults? I mean, have they had
I don't know. We find
normal lives to?
No, it's not normal life. They have to be supervised 24/7.
Do they?
Yeah. Ashnell has a mental age of 3-year-old and Alicia 2-year.
And basically, we have to do everything.
They
So-
can't be left
so-
alone at home. That we have to be there 24/7.
So they're in your care,
Yeah.
and they're not functioning like a normal, not
No,
normal
no.
20-year-olds at all.
No.
And haven't. How far did they get at school, and how did they cope with
They
school?
went to school up to 21 years old, but that was special needs school.
Okay, and did
They're
they
just
pass?
more or less there just
Did-
to play and fill the day.
So they didn't get any qualifications
No,
or anything.
no.
So what does their future look like from your point of view? I mean, how do you see their futures?
Well, we've basically got to do everything for them till we basically can't, or we die.
Are you getting any government assistance to help
Yeah, they're
take
giving,
care of them?
Yeah, they're giving support hours so that carers come outside and give us a break, and also like carers come and do personal care and household management.
Have you had to? Excuse me, I've got a cold. Have you had to fight for
Yeah, we
help?
do every
Tell
year.
me, tell me about this.
Yeah, every year we have to just fight. Sometimes
the
it's
government
It's
for
a
the-
full year,
With the Ministry of Health.
Yeah.
So you've got
every
this-
year.
You've got the same exhausting battle coming around every year
Every
to,
year, yeah.
to get help. Otherwise, you're
Yeah.
just left on your own
That's right. yeah.
completely. And how has it affected both of your lives? And
We have no life. I don't feel that we have got life,
No, we haven't got a life.
and,
we can't
and,
go anywhere.
you-
We have to. If we go anywhere, we have to have somebody here. And if they can't stay here, like meetings or something like that, and then we
you've
just
got to
don't
have
go.
one person on site with them
Yeah.
all the time.
And they require one-on-one support. They both have seizures. Sometimes it happens like Ashnell has a seizure, Alicia has a seizure at the same time. So what do you think? So one
When-
person
when
can't
we're
go.
on
So they're still having seizures.
Yeah.
So when you had your children, what hopes and dreams had you had for these two
I mean, any
beautiful
parents
children?
Any parents have lots of hopes when they have children, isn't it? They
Yeah,
get qualification and
Yeah.
get married, have children.
yeah, have a happy life.
So
But
we'll
having
never
them-
be able to have grandchildren because yeah.
How do you feel about all this?
Just
That's
angry
been
with the
taken
system,
away
just
with,
angry with the
from
system,
you
yeah.
because they didn't tell you
What would
what would happen.
if there was one thing?
If they told us that there were pros and
That there were
cons,
side effects.
we wouldn't have vaccinated our children.
That's right.
I'm really gutted I don't have my package insert today because someone really more needy needed my package insert. But I think you're more than aware of the package insert, aren't you, and the information that's on there.
Yeah, and they have got it in med.
I've got some copies in the car. There's,
No, it's fine. I mean, you've read
Yeah.
the package insert.
Yeah,
anyway.
it has got MedSafe.
MedSafe, yeah.
MedSafe website.
mm,
I mean, this is what it's all about. Is that us parents? We just want to know. We want to know what the risks and the benefits are.
That's right. Yeah.
If we choose to take the risks, then we could wear that what has happened to our children a little bit better, rather than the fact that it's been hidden from us.
Mhm.
But if there was, like, we're all in a position where what has happened to us has happened to us. If there was one thing that you could call out and ask New Zealand to help you with, what would it be? Would it, like, to me, all this fighting for help and funding seems to be a disgrace.
Mhm.
That must take a lot of effort, all the paperwork.
Mhm.
You know, is there anything that the system could help you with?
I think they should know that our children are vaccinated. They should deserve whatever we ask for, and they are entitled for. But they don't do it,
no.
It looks like they're just punishing us.
Do you feel betrayed by the system?
Yeah, we do.
Absolutely, yeah.
They just
Like, you've done the
they're
right
just
thing.
like bullies. Or you take it, or not to have it.
And do you know that certain people in this country in medical or scientific positions and government positions want to make forced vaccines on initially starting with children, but what is happening in America and Australia is they start with the children, then they start saying, well, like in Australia, no jab, no pay, you can't have a job, you can't have a child benefit. If you don't have all these vaccines, and the number is going up every year, there are 300 vaccines and up to 300 in production coming down the pipeline at us. How would you feel if the government said you can no longer have any assistance, or you can't even get a job or insurance if you don't have all these vaccines, or your kids don't have all these vaccines? What would you say to them?
Communist.
Sorry?
Communist.
This is not a communist country, isn't it?
It's not
They should have,
supposed to be.
It's going that way.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think they,
That's why we've all got to speak.
I
up.
think
Going to
whoever makes the
totalitarian,
I think whoever
medical.
whoever makes the decision, they should be injected with all this vaccines. Then
I
And then the
agree. Yeah. Clap, clap. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
do you know that?
Line up for your vaccines, folks.
Do you know that a lot of them don't vaccinate their own children behind the scenes, and quite a very high percentage of doctors don't. So
Because they know the risks, I suppose.
of course they do. Yeah,
So
I
why
come
just-
from a
why
medical
tell us to
scientific
vaccinate if
family.
they don't do it?
Yeah.
That's not fair.
Okay. So what would you like to say to New Zealand? What do we have to do now to stand up for health freedom and protect all
I
of
think we
us?
should let
Get
the
rid of
parents
the
should
government.
parents should make decisions for their own children
Mm-hmm.
and get rid of this national government.
But the other parties are just as bad, unfortunately, at the moment. We have
Yeah.
nobody standing up for health freedom
That's true.
at the
yeah.
moment.
No one's
Yeah.
standing up for our children.
Yeah.
You know, no one's interested in these children.
Yeah.
I mean, if they say those things, all the politicians going in the parliament, they should be vaccinated.